Hello there! So if you turned on this video, you're probably aware of the situation which is happening between HYBE and ADOR CEO Min Hee Jin. And I have noticed that around this situation there is really a lot of rumors and allegations and judgments and misinformation and all the things like that. And I'm pretty sure that all these things just drag people further from the reality and manipulate the opinions of the audience and so on. And I don't like that. So I decided to make a video about my opinion on this situation, but not only my opinion on this situation, but also all of the tricks and techniques that I use when I am trying to understand what is really happening behind arguments and behind allegations and behind press work and behind manipulations. I have been basically a Ukrainian living in Ukraine during the full-scale invasion for 2 years, and here now an ability to analyze information is not just important, it is crucial for survival. And it is actually crucial for your mental health, because there is really a lot of information, and most of this information is misinformation, and you really need to learn how to distinguish things, and you really need to learn how to analyze information. So during all this time I have earned a kit of skills on how to analyze information and how to understand what is really happening behind the curtains of a huge amounts of different allegations, misinformations, announcements and statements and everything that is going on. So for me, basically, the situation is more or less clear, and I will tell my view on this situation just in a few minutes. If you want, you may use the time code in the description, where I will put a time code to the moment when I already explain everything what I think about this situation. But I want to start with the fact that when you are trying to understand what is happening, when you are trying to work with the information, you need to set yourself a goal to understand what reality is. Not to participate in drama, not to spread rumors, not to fight with someone, not to express your emotions or anything like that, but to really understand what the situation is like. And this goal, it really washes away a lot of mess and a lot of things. And the first rule that I use when I work with information is not to react. As I see in this situation, people do react a lot. So a lot of people become emotional because they are attached to NewJeans, emotionally attached to NewJeans, and they want to support NewJeans, and they worry about NewJeans because NewJeans girls group, minors, and they seem like the prisoners of this whole situation, and it's really understandable that people want to support them. Some other people want to support Min Hee Jin because she looks like a woman in a male-dominated industry, and a lot of women who feel like there is injustice against women in the industries like K-pop, they want to support Min Hee Jin in this situation. Some people feel like HYBE is being attacked, and this attack on HYBE may influence BTS, for example, or TXT on HYBE, or any other, lesser of him, any other brands under HYBE, and they want to support HYBE in this situation because they are worried about all of the bands that they like, all of the groups that they like. And it is all very understandable, and being emotional is a very human thing. But when you want to understand what is really happening, you need to be able to put out your emotions, to put away your emotions and to just look at the facts. And this is my first rule. Put out the emotions and look at the facts. My second rule is not to jump into conclusions. Because when you jump into conclusions, you lose an ability to really understand what is happening. Because whenever you decide that something is as it is, you start using fact as a weapon. So basically, when you are trying to understand what the situation is like, you take all of the facts, you put them in order, you make logical assumptions and logical connections between these facts, and then you decide, it looks like the conclusion is this, and you put a conclusion on the bottom of the page. But when you jump into assumptions first, you put a conclusion on the bottom of the blank page, and then you pick facts that prove your conclusion. And then you add rumors, you add allegations, you add assumptions, you add emotions into all of this to just prove your conclusion, which you made before you even analyzed the situation. And it is not getting you closer to the reality. So I know that there are a lot of people who are like, okay, I like NewJeans, which means that I am supposed to support Min Hee Jin, and that means that at the bottom of my paper I will put Min Hee Jin is right. And then I will choose all of the facts, and I will choose all of the rumors, and I will choose everything to prove that Min Hee Jin is right. Or I can be like, okay, I really trust HYBE because BTS are the part of Big Hit, and Big Hit is a part of HYBE, and I trust BTS, and BTS seem to trust HYBE, so I will put on the bottom of the paper, HYBE is right. And then I will pick all of the facts to make sure that they correspond with my conclusion. This is what you do when you jump into conclusions, and it is not a good thing. It creates a lot of mess, and it's not getting you closer to the reality. So my second rule is not to jump into conclusions before I analyze the facts. My third rule is to distinguish facts, allegations, announcements, rumors, and everything else. It is very important because facts cannot be manipulated. So fact is something that is 100% truth. So for example, HYBE says, we are starting an audit of ADOR because we suspect that ADOR CEO Min Hee Jin conspires against HYBE. They made this announcement. It is a fact. Min Hee Jin is conspiring against HYBE. This is an allegation, unless they show evidence. Next, Min Hee Jin conducts a press conference at which she says that NewJeans were treated badly by HYBE. Min Hee Jin conducted a press conference where she said that it's a fact. But NewJeans were badly treated by HYBE is an allegation, unless it is proved, which is also like a point of judgment, so it's really hard to prove something like that. So it is very important to distinguish these things. What is like 100% fact and what is just something that people are saying and something that we are not supposed to believe unless we have evidence. Also, in the situations like this, in the situations when there are two sides and these two sides are publicly battling each other, very often they are going to use different tricks to manipulate the audience. For example, Min Hee Jin has conducted this press conference where she says that NewJeans were treated really badly and ILLIT is a copy of NewJeans and so on and so on. So these are the things that she does to get people on her side, because people are supposed to be sorry for her and they are supposed to be sorry for NewJeans, and that's why they are supposed to be on her side. And this way she is distracting the attention from the actual fact or not fact that she committed fraud against HYBE. At the same time, HYBE, for example, are announcing that they have evidence that Min Hee Jin addressed a shaman, and I can't stop laughing at it. It's very funny that Min Hee Jin addressed a shaman, and she discussed BTS with this shaman. And this is something that they are using to get armies involved in the whole conversation and to get armies involved on their side, on the side of HYBE, because armies are very sensitive about BTS and armies are very dedicated to BTS. So whenever they mention BTS and then someone was bad about BTS, armies jump in, and it's like inevitable. And these are just the things that they do to manipulate audience and to get the audience on their side. So both HYBE and Min Hee Jin do these things, and they need to be able to distinguish like what is the fact, what is reality, and what they do to just manipulate us. I also wanted to point out one very common way of manipulation, and it is when people put a fact and then an allegation in the same sentence, or sometimes as separate sentences, but one after another. For example, Min Hee Jin says that NewJeans debuted after Les Seraphim, and then she says that NewJeans are poorly treated. So the first thing is a fact. It's a fact which can be checked. The second thing is an allegation. She just says that, and it's maybe her like how she sees the situation, or maybe it just has nothing behind it. It's just something that she says to drag NewJeans into this whole conversation and to put NewJeans opposite to HYBE. So we don't know that. But when she puts this allegation right after the fact, it makes the audience think that these two things are both facts. And subconsciously, you may take it as a fact as well. So we need to be really extremely attentive when we are analyzing information like this. Jaskia, whom do you support? Do you support NewJeans? Nah. We don't know his opinion. Okay. So, rule number 3. Distinguish actual facts, misinformation, rumors, allegations, announcements, and all these things. These are all different things, and we need to be able to distinguish them. Rule number 4. Always consider motivation. Actually, facts or evidence and motivation are two things that the judges usually use to understand the situation in court. Motivation is very important. And in this situation, motivation is extremely important. So let's imagine that our main question is, did Min Hee Jin commit fraud against HYBE or not? Did she conspire against HYBE to get NewJeans out of HYBE? This is our main question, let's imagine. And let's imagine that it is not true. That Min Hee Jin was just the CEO of ADOR and she was just working with NewJeans, and she was probably unhappy with what was happening, but she didn't commit anything against HYBE. Then, in such a situation, HYBE does not have any motivation to start all of this public argument. Because what is happening now is only harmful for HYBE. If we imagine that everything was like Min Hee Jin explained in her press conference, the situation was the following. HYBE was in the position of power, HYBE had all of the resources, and HYBE basically did what they wanted with anything they had in the company. And in such a case, there is no reason why HYBE would jump on Min Hee Jin with these accusations of fraud. So it's really hard for me to imagine like what would make them do that. But again, let's imagine that for some reason they did it. But also, like they say that they have physical evidence, which is a very, very strong statement. So if they go to the court, and they will probably go to the court because they said that they are going to address police with this. If they go to the court, where they will need to show this evidence, and saying that you have physical evidence if you don't have it is a very, very bad thing, and I don't think HYBE would do that. But let's imagine that HYBE don't have any evidence and they are just accusing Min Hee Jin because I don't quite understand why. Like for some reason they decided to informationally attack Min Hee Jin. Imagine that you are Min Hee Jin in this situation. Like your employer says, you committed fraud against us, you were conspiring against us, and we have physical evidence. And you, at the same time, are completely innocent. What would you do? If I were Min Hee Jin in this situation, I would say, okay, show the evidence. Show your physical evidence. You have nothing on me because I am innocent. But what she does, she calls a press conference at which she tells about how NewJeans were badly treated, how like everything was wrong about the behavior of HYBE against ADOR, how ILLIT is a copy of the concept of NewJeans, and so on and so on. It's really hard for me to imagine that in this situation, HYBE are lying and Min Hee Jin did not conspire against them. That's why I really think that HYBE are telling the truth in this situation. So, in my opinion, what Min Hee Jin is trying to do with all this press conference and all these things is she probably is trying to get some support of the audience, and she's also trying to drag NewJeans as much as she can into this situation and to put NewJeans into opposition from HYBE, because NewJeans is basically her only asset at this moment, and she's probably trying to pull NewJeans out of HYBE and work with NewJeans under some other label, which is to me highly doubtful. It depends on how far she moved with finding investments for this. I don't think that many people will want to work with her under such circumstances, and also at the same time she would have to convince all of the NewJeans members and their parents to leave HYBE and go to some other completely new place. So I really doubt that she will be able to do that. So I hope you understood how I make assumptions about this whole situation. First, I only use facts. Second, I use motivation. And I really understand that HYBE suffer a lot from this situation, because first of all, they have problems with NewJeans. Nobody knows how it's going to affect the career of NewJeans. Second, they are losing money because they're losing their capitalization because of the drop of the share prices. And third, all of this mess, all of this informational campaign against them, not a campaign, all of this informational mess around them, it's really hurting them from the perspective of investments and from the perspective of other artists and so on. So I really doubt that they would start something like this if they didn't have actual reasons for that. And they also say that they have physical evidence, so I kind of believe that they do. Next, I want to address a few allegations which I noticed in this whole situation, and some of them are really funny, some of them are really weird, but whatever, let's get to them. First, this whole thing about shaman and black magic. HYBE said that they have evidence that Min Hee Jin addressed a shaman and they discussed BTS. Min Hee Jin said that yes, it is true, I talked to shaman about how basically to make NewJeans more successful, from what I understood. And I can see a lot of, especially TikToks, some of them are joking and some of them are not, about that Min Hee Jin used black magic on BTS to make them go to the militaries or to do anything else like that. And I'm 100% sure that nobody used any black magic on BTS. I'm pretty sure that what really happened was that she addressed the shaman to actually discuss how to, what she can do to make NewJeans more successful. And BTS probably appeared in this conversation because they are one of the biggest bands, one of the biggest group, the biggest group in K-pop. So I really believe that why I think that nobody used black magic on BTS. Because black magic is not that simple as it seems to people who know nothing about magic. Because black magic is very rare, and there is a reason for this. Because black magic really backfires the person who does it. Because black magic is when some person uses their energy with a bad intention. And people who can really use their energy intentionally upon people usually understand the consequences. And the consequences of black magic are always very bad for the person who uses this black magic. That's why black magic is very rare, and it's really impossible that some shaman would use some black magic upon BTS and then admitted that, and then let anybody know about that. So I'm 100% sure that there was no black magic. Probably she just talked to someone about the whole situation and just to clarify something or something like that. Stop saying that she used black magic. That's incredible. That's really funny. Second, ILLIT is a copy of NewJeans. I know that in K-pop it is very, very popular to talk about that someone is a copy of something, or someone is copying someone, or something like that. I am not a big fan of this. I think that being similar is okay. I think that it's okay if someone uses similar visual effects, or someone uses similar concepts, because anyway, like, the energy behind them is different because they are different people, and the audience can choose like what they like more. And if they like NewJeans more, they will listen to NewJeans, and if they like ILLIT more, they will listen to ILLIT. And all of this, like in this particular situation, all of these allegations about copying are just there to distract the audience from the fact that Min Hee Jin probably actually conspired against HYBE. And spreading these things and spreading this conversation about copying is just giving up, like surrendering to this manipulation. And I am not going to participate in it. Next. Big Hit announced NewJeans' album before they were going to, because of this whole situation. I would say that probably yes. We are never going to know when the announcement was to happen originally, but like it's pretty possible because the shares were dropping and the share prices were dropping, and when they announced the album, the drop of the share prices stopped, so they didn't come back to the original numbers, but at least they stopped getting cheaper for some period of time. I didn't check the share prices today, but for some time they stopped. So it is pretty possible that this is just, you know, crisis management, and they announced NewJeans' album before it was supposed to be announced. But if it is so, I'm pretty grateful for that. Like, I'm fine with that. The last thing that I want to say in this video is that I want you to know that nothing is as bad as it first seems. I learned this phrase when I was breaking up with a guy who I thought was the love of my life, and it really helped me during the full-scale invasion, because sometimes the situation looked really, really crappy, but at the end it appeared to be not as bad as it first seemed. Every time it appeared to be not as bad as it first seemed. And I got pretty used to that. I got pretty used to the fact that when something looks really, really bad, it's not as bad as it seems. I saw a lot of jokes, but sometimes not jokes, about that HYBE is falling apart, and it is going to influence BTS, and it is going to influence HYBE, and it is going to influence TXT, and it is going to influence Le Sserafim, and everything is going to be bad. Chill. It's not. It's going to be okay. Like, the companies like these, the big companies with huge audiences and a lot of investors and blah blah blah, they don't fall apart because of one crisis or because of one scandal. It's going to be okay. Maybe we are going to talk about it for a few more weeks, and then it's going to be okay. Maybe they will go to the court and we will discuss the court again. But everything is going to be okay. So nothing is going to fall apart. I hope you liked this video. It's not like the ones which I usually make, and it's really not like what I'm going to make in the future, but I hope it was useful, and I hope it was interesting as well. Take care, analyze the information. Every time you get information, analyze the information and put the goal to get closer to the reality, because the further you are from the reality, the more anxious and the more emotional and the more confused you are. Reality treats all of these things. Thank you for watching. See you next time.